Vivek Ramaswamy has been surging recently in the polls after this past weekend especially. He was at the same event as Pence. Then he did a big Turning Point USA event the next day. And there's one clip going back to the Friday event. And he's talking to Glenn Beck about draining the swamp. And we've heard the promise to drain the swamp. We've heard it from Trump. We hear it from every Republican presidential candidate. And Trump was not the first one to promise that. What we found is that no Republican president has actually done it, Trump included. Well, Vivek is making the same promise. But here he's asked, well, how will you do that? And here's his response.
I'm coming in with a clear-sighted view, Glenn, of shutting down most of the administrative state.
How realistic is that?
Very realistic. So first of all, do it on strong legal authority. So I'm a unique combination. I don't like to brag a lot, but I'm a CEO, but I've also studied the Constitution deeply. And the Supreme Court right now shares my view of the Constitution. The U.S. president already has statutory authority. The Presidential Reorganization Act of 1977 says you can shut down redundant agencies. Well, when I look at what the DEA does and what the U.S. Marshals do, there's my legal justification for shutting down the FBI without asking Congress for permission or forgiveness.
Jeez.
There's another justification, stimulating the economy, also in that same statute. The $80 billion spent in the U.S. Department of Education, you know what? That would stimulate the economy to give it back to the people. That's my legal justification. So I understand the legal footing. By the way, what stopped Trump? The civil service protections, they said.
Correct.
Well, guess what? Read the law. Civil service protections protect against the individual firings of employees for supposedly political reasons. They do not apply to mass layoffs. And mass layoffs are absolutely what I'm bringing to Washington, D.C.
Would you lay it off, reform it, or close it down, these institutions?
Many agencies, I would just shut down the agencies. There's a certain list of other agencies where we have 75% headcount reduction plans.
Jeez.
And then there are other agencies which we move out of Washington, D.C., make people move. Many of them will volunteer not to. We save on the severance costs.
Imagine that. He actually, now, does the fact that he has a plan for accomplishing this, does that mean that he'll be able to accomplish it? Not necessarily. Having a plan is not the same as being able to execute it. But you should be able to explain exactly how you're going to do it. And this is what we should, whoever you support in the Republican primary, this is what you should, this is minimal stuff. This is minimal stuff. This is what you should require of whoever you support. That whatever their alleged goals are, starting with draining the swamp and, getting rid of the administrative state, same thing as draining the swamp, effectively means the same thing. But whatever the promise is, starting with that, they need to be able to coherently explain how they'll do it. What is your plan? Walk me through the steps. And just saying, I'll do it and it'll be done. That's not enough. Anyone can say that. You need to be able to show that you understand how to do it to begin with. If you don't understand how you're going to do it, then you're not going to be able to do it. Are you tired of waiting ages for your grill to heat up? Now you could say goodbye to those tedious moments of impatiently watching the charcoal burn and say hello to instant barbecue perfection thanks to our new friends at Grill Blazer. Grill Blazer's grill guns are designed to do everything from expertly searing your meats to lighting charcoal grills, wood stoves, and outdoor fireplaces. Grill Blazer offers two types of grill guns. They have the Grill Gun Basic, which is a high-power propane torch designed to light charcoal and wood grills and smokers. It burns up to 3,600 degrees. Its 30-inch flame is for anything you need a big bad torch to do. And then there's the Sous Vide gun, which has a shorter barrel perfect for professional culinary kitchen uses, from gently caramelizing brulee, which of course I caramelize brulee all the time. I know all about that. Or other sugars and fruits, to rapidly searing steaks outside on the grill. Using the grill gun may result in extreme grill envy from your neighbors and increased demands for barbecue parties as well. Get your grill gun from Grill Blazers today and let the grilling adventure begin. Visit grillblazer.com/Walsh and use promo code Walsh for 15% off your order. That's grillblazer.com/Walsh, promo code Walsh for 15% off your order. Companies are strong-arming their customers to support abortion, canceling customers for their political views, and making a mockery of women by supporting transgender models. No government agency, institution, or company is allowed to just be what it is and focus on fulfilling the tasks that it was made to fulfill. A beer company can't just make beer anymore. Their primary concern is not with brewing and distributing beer, but with showing their support of the left's political and cultural agenda. That's the way it is now, but Public Square offers a new solution. Public Square is an app and website where you can get connected to tens of thousands of businesses from all different industries that share your value for life, family, and freedom. Public Square also offers discounts to many high-quality businesses on the platform, so you can actually have an incentive to spend money with companies that don't hate you. Imagine that. Whether you're looking for new athletic clothing that knows what a woman is, a banking partner you can count on, or simply a new restaurant in your area that won't lecture you about your political views as you're trying to enjoy a meal, head over to publicsq.com. Public Square is free to join as a consumer or a business owner. You can get started at publicsq.com or download their app today. That's publicsq.com. This is one of the things I like about Vivek Ramaswamy. And there's still a lot, I like a lot of what he says. He appears to be very competent. I agree with much of what he says. If I have one complaint about him, it's just that he's kind of, and this is, this is holding against him the fact that he's not a career politician, which is unfair, but he did sort of come out of nowhere. And so there are a lot of questions about, like, where did this guy come from? What was he doing before this? What were his views on all these issues, say, 3 or 4 years ago? I mean, all these are important questions. But as far as what he's saying right now, I like a lot of it. And this is the main thing that I appreciate about him, is that he can, in precise detail, explain, here's where the problems come from, and here's what we can do to fix it. And too often we let Republican politicians get away with making grand sweeping promises that sound really good, but without getting into the nitty-gritty and the specifics. And what we found is that really does matter. This is not just wonky nerd stuff. That really matters, because when you're in office, if you actually win and you're there, now it's not about grand sweeping promises anymore. It's not about platitudes. Now you're there. Now it's a day-to-day thing, and you have to be able to actually execute. And a lot of what you're going to be doing, a lot of it's kind of like boring, behind the scenes. It's not flashy, but you gotta love that stuff, and you have to understand it. I think Vivek's one of the guys that appears to fit the bill there. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.